My name is Amanda Jones. I'm 26.
My name is Toria Newsom, and I'm 37.
Abortion, euthanasia, and human cloning, for example, risk reducing the human person to a mere object, life and death to order. That is a quote by Pope John Paul III. My name is Chris Jones, and today I'm going to talk to you why you should not support human cloning or research for human cloning. I'm going to start by giving you a basic overview of human cloning. The notion of human cloning began with scientific research and the eventual successful cloning of a sheep. The sheep was named Dolly. Scientists, they believe they have the capabilities of cloning humans. Among the reasons scientists claim that the benefits of cloning, the most prominent is the capability of having an identical match to patients in need of a limb, blood transfusion, or an organ. The notion may be novel, but the intentions are much more unethical, and I'll explain to you why. For one, this reduces humans to a mere object. Back to the quote I listed in the very beginning, this is one of the key issues that cloning reduces the human beings just being a mere object. If you read Genesis chapter 1 verse 27, it tells us that God created man in his own image. This makes a distinct difference between human life and any other form of species. But the fact that God created us in his own image, unlike any other species that exists. The first tells us how much value he placed in creation, and that its intent was to be much more than just an object. Another key ethical issue there is with human cloning is the purpose of creation. If you refer to Isaiah chapter 43 verse 7, God refers humans to something he created for his glory. Our purpose for creation was to glorify him. In 1 Corinthians 10:31, Scripture tells us that whatever we must do it to glorify God. These verses describe God's intention for our creation. Now look at the purpose of human cloning. This is to glorify humans. Clearly a purpose that does not contribute to God's values. Further ethical issues. According to the Friends of the Earth article on cloning information, Dolly the sheep, who was the initial experiment for cloning, was cloned more than 200 times before each of them being discarded before they had the correct match to the clone. This raises further issues on the ethics of humanity. What will happen to the scientific mistakes of human cloning? How many times will you be cloned before they find the right one, and each one of those being discarded? How is that a credit to humanity? Can we justify discarding these humans? They're basically humans, living beings, the same as abortion or murder. Just another example of misuse of God's intention for the creation of humans. Right now here I've listed some state laws so you can have some information on maybe what your state has for cloning. According to the Americans to Ban Cloning Coalition, the United States Conference and the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, several states have already made laws prohibiting cloning. 6 states, including Arkansas, Iowa, Michigan, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Virginia, ban human cloning for any purposes. One state, New Jersey, specifically permits cloning for purposes of embryonic or fetal research. California and Rhode Island ban cloning for the purposes of initiating pregnancy. South Dakota also has bans on research on human embryos that could harm them. So in closing, I want to paint a little picture for you guys. So imagine, if you will, getting a chance to view a genetic copy of yourself, or maybe several genetic copies of yourself, a living, breathing human with feelings, thoughts, and a personality, who was created by scientists in the lab. Now imagine this copy deemed obsolete and discarded. Now think about how you would feel watching this. I mean, just take a moment and breathe this in a little bit, and tell me if you could see anything ethical, or if you can see a limb or an organ worth watching this. Now, while you're thinking about that, and maybe some of you have already made your decision, I'm going to give you some information on maybe possible organizations that you can get involved with to help support this cause. There are many ways to get involved with the push to ban cloning and cloning research that harms human embryos. Here are some organizations that you can support or endorse to help fight the cause. There's the Americans to Ban Cloning Coalition, there's the Council for Responsible Genetics, there's the Center for Bioethics and Human Dignity, and there's Friends of the Earth. And in closing, I just want to say just thank you for your time, and I hope you have taken this in to heart and make the right and ethical choice. Thank you.